be starting the free version of the pattern through video instruction. If you prefer having a written pattern instead, or if you don't want to wait for all parts of the instructions to come out, or if you want to make the webbed ear version instead of only having the free no-sew ear option, you can get a printable, ad-free, and easy-to-read PDF as an instant download from my store. The link is in the description box below. Let's begin with the head. For the head, I'm using purple color for this dragon. This will be my main body color too. We're going to begin with round 1, which is a magic ring to start. In the magic ring, you will insert 6 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. After you've got those 6 single crochets in, you're going to pull the ring tight and continue on with round 2. For round 2, you're going to do a single crochet and an increase all the way around 3 times. That will make 9 stitches total. So let me show you how that works. In that very first stitch, you're going to insert a single crochet. Oops. In the next stitch, you're going to increase. And we're going to repeat that. So single crochet and then increase. Remember, an increase is to put 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Then a single crochet and an increase again. Once you've done that, you will have 9 single crochets for round 2. For round 3, we're going to do another round of increases. We're going to single crochet 2 and increase. And we're going to repeat that around. So 1, 2, and increase. Here's stitch 3 and 4 together. And then another 2. Here's stitch 5 and 6. And increase for 7 and 8. 2 more single crochets, single crochet 9 and 10, and then the last 2. That's 11 and 12 stitches total. So that's that for round number 3. For round number 4, we're going to single crochet 5, increase 2, and then single crochet 5. So now I'm going to go and just single crochet 5 to start. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to increase in this next one, increase in the next one after, and then single crochet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now's a good time to kind of push your amigurumi the other way so that the right side of your work faces out and the wrong side faces in. All right, now for round number 5, we're going to do 6 single crochets, increase twice, and then 6 single crochets. I'm just going to pull up my yarn tail here to keep track of where my start is. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 single crochets here. Then we're going to increase in these next 2 stitches. And here's another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 single crochets. There we go. All right, for my next round number 6, we're going to single crochet 7, increase twice, single crochet 7. Here's what it'll look like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to increase twice. Increase and increase. And then single crochet 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That brings you back to the start of the round. Now, as you notice, your dragon's head at this point is starting to have a bit of a protruded section on the very top here. Where we finish the round is at the very bottom. So this top part is going to start forming the forehead. Now for the next 2 rounds, round 7 and round 8, we're simply going to single crochet around. No increasing, no decreasing, just going around, putting 1 single crochet in each stitch. So we're going to meet back at the end of round 8 after you've done 2 straight rounds of single crochet. After you finish round 8, your dragon head should look something like this. You can see the little curve for the forehead showing. Now for round number 9, we're going to do a slight decrease. We're going to single crochet 7, decrease twice, and single crochet 7. Let's go ahead and do that. So here I'm going to go 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now I'm going to decrease, and I recommend using the invisible decrease method because it will look less visible than a regular decrease. And if you don't know how to do that, I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. So put your hook into the front loop of the next stitch and in the front loop of the stitch after. Remember, a regular decrease is to single crochet 2 stitches together. So here, after you go through both the front loops, you're going to yarn over, pull through both of those front loops, and then yarn over and single crochet like normal. Let's do that again for the next decrease. So go into that front loop, go into that next front loop, yarn over, pull through, and single crochet. And then we're going to single crochet 7 to finish off this round. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And at this point, it would be a great idea to go ahead and add in your dragon's plastic safety eyes. So what I am using are 6mm eyes for this little dragon that is made using medium weight yarn. And I'm going to put the eyes between rounds 5 and 6, about 7 stitches apart. You can go ahead and place them farther apart or closer together if you want. It just changes the look of the dragon slightly. And you'll want to keep note where the forehead is. So remember, the start of your round end is the bottom of your dragon's head, and the forehead is here at the top. So you'll just want to go ahead and put the eyes 7 stitches, or if you want to follow mine, 7 stitches apart from the forehead area. So let me go ahead and find that here. It's round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going between 5 and 6 here. And let's see, if I just pinpoint, let me just kind of drop one in first. It's usually easier for me to throw one in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then kind of count out the next stitches. Let's see. All right. If your stitches are tight like mine, you might have to do a little bit of wiggling to get your safety eye in. So here's how the 6mm eye looks. And I'm gonna go ahead and count 7 spaces over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it would be right around here. Now if I wanted it slightly higher, like 6 stitches apart, it would be about here. All right, let me still try the 7 stitches apart. And I'm going to make sure my forehead is centered. What do you think? That looks about right, huh? After you're satisfied with the placement, you can go ahead and attach those safety eye backings in, and then we'll continue on with the rest of the round. You can also stuff your dragon's head, and we're going to continue stuffing as you work along. And if you want to use this really cool plastic eye safety tool because you have a hard time putting those backings in like me, go ahead and check out the link in the description box. I have a link to this product. I find it so nifty to use. Look at that. You just click and it goes in. And perfect safety eye. All right, and there's my dragon's rounded forehead. You can also, at this point, pull in that initial yarn tail. I'm just gonna use my hook to pull it right in and keep it tight inside the dragon's head. There we go. We're now on to round number 10. For round 10, you're going to single crochet twice, decrease, and do that 4 times around. So let me go ahead and show you how to get started here. We're going to go into that first stitch. Okay, we're going to single crochet 1 and single crochet 2. Then we're going to decrease. Remember, that's going into the first 2 front loops. Yarn over and finish off. Let's do that again. So single crochet twice and then a decrease. And single crochet twice. And a decrease. Oops. And last part, single crochet twice. And a decrease. And that's that for round number 10. Alright, and I got my little dragon head stuffed as well. Now onto that last round, round number 11, we're just going to decrease around. So that's going into the first 2 stitches and making a decrease. And since we have 12 stitches in round 10, you're going to decrease around and end up with 6 stitches to finish. When you are all done going all the way around, you can snip off the end, leaving enough of a tail to use for sewing up that hole. So I'll be using a little yarn needle to stitch up that hole in just a bit. And we can continue on. For the horns, we're going to attach them to the head using no-sew crochet methods. What you'll do is get the color you want ready for the horns. And I'm going to go into a stitch between round 7 and 8 of the head. I like to look at where the eyes are between 5 and 6. This is 7 and 8. So I like them to be a little bit above the eyes when I'm looking from the front. You can place them closer to the top if you want to. What you'll do is attach that yarn, having a bit of a tail at the end so that you can pull it in later. And then the first step, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3 chains like so. Let me see if I can focus that better. All right. Then you're going to make a slip stitch in the second chain from your hook. So go not into that first one, but in the second one here. Gonna pull through for a slip stitch. Then slip stitch into that next stitch as well. Then you're going to fasten off with a bit of a tail. And this is important because you're going to pull that tail in through the head. So let me get that first tail pulled in first. And then that second tail, you're going to want to pull it in to this part. Focus that better. All right. Let's pull it in through that same stitch. And you'll see as I pull it in, that little horn will perk up in place. Let me get that other yarn tail in as well. There we go. Let's go ahead and repeat that for the next horn. You're also going to work between round 7 and 8. And for this next horn, we're going to do the exact same. We're going to pull through that yarn, that new yarn color. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Insert a slip stitch in that second chain from your hook. Insert a slip stitch into the next stitch. Then fasten off with enough of a tail to pull it through your stitch, your dragon's head, excuse me. And that's that for the horns. You can go ahead and also cut off these yarn ends, or you could tie them together and push them into the the head. I'm just gonna kind of push them in here. I got some stuffing pulled out too, so gotta stick them all back. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how I close up the holes in my amigurumi. There's a really easy way to do that. And that's basically by putting a running stitch through the front loops on all the stitches in your last round. So I'm going through the front loop here, and I'm going out the next front loop, going in the next front loop, going out the following one, going in, and going out. Keeping my stitches relaxed for now, and at the end, when I pull them together, it cinches up the hole. So now I can go ahead and just weave in my end. I like to just go through a few stitches in the head. Oop, that goes out right the center of the head. And I fasten off, pulling on the yarn tail just a tad, snip. And when I release it, since I pulled it a tad, the yarn end should pop right in. All right, and let's curl up those horns again. There we go. Okay, our little dragon is ready for the next step. There are two different ear options for this little dragon, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the no-sew version. For the no-sew version, you're going to get the yarn you want to use for your ears. I'm using the same color as the head, and you're going to attach your yarn to a stitch between round 8 and round 9 of the head. So counting down, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm going to go between those two rounds. And the ear is actually going to take up 2 stitches of space. You're going to start from, if you're right-handed, you're going to start from this side and then go to the next stitch. So I'm going to kind of eyeball where I want my ears to go. And I'm going to start with that lower stitch for the dragon's left ear. So this will be the first stitch, and this will be the second stitch for my dragon's ear, and that will be where the whole ear comes out. All right, so attach yarn to that first stitch. And to begin, you're going to put a single crochet and a double crochet both in that first stitch. So here I'm going to go in, oops, actually, I'm sorry. Before you do that, you're going to want to make a chain to secure your stitch. Okay. And now we're going to do the single crochet and a double crochet, both in that same stitch. Then in the next stitch, you're going to make a chain and then put a double crochet. Oops. And a single crochet, both in that same stitch. And that finishes off the first ear. As you can see, that was really quick to make, and you're going to go ahead and fasten off with a bit of a tail. You're going to pull that tail end through the same stitch that you finished in. Sorry for the fluff. So if I were to pull it in, it'd be going through that same stitch I worked out of. Give it a nice tug. And there's my dragon's little ear. And you'll want to pull in the other yarn tail as well. After you do that first ear, you're going to repeat the instructions for ear number 2. And again, I'm going into round 8 and 9, between 8 and 9. So, and I'm going to find a stitch that is gonna be the first half of my ear, and then that next stitch here will be the second half. So I think I want my ear to be placed around here. So going into that first stitch, you're gonna attach your yarn. Make a chain. Then you're going to single crochet and double crochet both in that same stitch. Then you're going to make a chain, and in the next stitch you are going to double crochet and then single crochet. When you are done with that, you're going to fasten off with enough of a tail so that you can pull it into your dragon's head. And remember to pull in both of those yarn tails. Gotta hide them here. And I'm pulling the yarn tail I fastened off with into the same stitch that I left off at. After you finish the ears, you might want to just pinch them a little bit so that they have this nice little folded look. Oops. And that's that for the little dragon's ears. Congratulations on finishing part 1 of the crochet-along here. Your dragon should now have the head, ears, and horns all done, and you will be ready to move on to part 2 of the Creator Challenge. See you next week.